Hi children, welcome back to our channel. In this chapter, let's study the imaginary lines.
Hi friends, welcome to Aditya's channel. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for updates on new videos.
So in this chapter, the imaginary lines, we split this chapter into two parts. In part 1, we will cover recap of Earth that we studied last year, and along with that we will study latitudes and longitudes. And we'll also make another video on part 2, and which will cover grid system and time and maps. So children, let's recollect what you studied last year. So last year you studied about globe. It has North Pole, South Pole, and an imaginary line connecting these poles, and it is called as axis. You also studied about this compass, which will help us in identifying the direction. On the globe, you also had studied about an equator, which is an imaginary line that divides the Earth into two equal parts, that is known as Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere. You also have studied that Earth has 7 continents and 5 oceans. So you studied about 4 directions, and also you studied about maps. Maps are drawings or visual representations of entire area or part of area and on a flat surface like paper. So with this recollection, let's go and study this year's chapter on imaginary lines. Earth is a huge heavenly body and is made up of continents and oceans. Locating places on Earth is a difficult task. Hence, a globe, which is a model of Earth, is created to locate places on Earth. Now let us understand latitudes and longitudes. Latitude is an imaginary horizontal line, now which runs from east to west. So a latitude which divides the Earth into two equal parts, known as Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, is known as equator. So equator runs at the center of the Earth. Latitudes are also known as parallels, as each of these latitudes run parallel to each other. Now let us understand longitudes. Longitudes are imaginary vertical lines drawn from North Pole to South Pole. Now, these are also called as meridians, which means midday. Latitudes are imaginary horizontal lines or circles which run from east to west. These are also called as parallels as they run parallel to each other and they do not meet each other. Equator is the central latitude that divides the Earth into two equal halves, that is, Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere. Latitudes are measured in degrees. So, equator is a 0-degree latitude. Northern Hemisphere has 90 latitudes, that is from degree 1 to 90, and the 90th degree latitude is actually Northern Pole. Similarly, Southern Hemisphere also has 90 latitudes from degree 1 to degree 90, and the 90th degree latitude actually a southern pole. So together 90 degrees in the north, 90 degrees in the south, and 0-degree equator, together they form 181 latitudes on Earth. Now let us see important latitudes on Earth. So equator, we already know, is a 0-degree latitude and it is the longest latitude on Earth. Northern Hemisphere has three important latitudes. One, Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degree northern hemisphere. Another latitude is Arctic Circle at 66.5 degrees, and the North Pole is a 90-degree north latitude. In southern hemisphere also we see three important latitudes. One, Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degree at southern latitude, Antarctic Circle at 66.5 degree south, and southern pole is at 90-degree southern latitude. Actually, the North Pole and South Pole are not exactly the circles, they are the points. So, unlike other latitudes, we don't call them as circles, they are the points on the latitude system. Now, let us understand the characteristics of latitudes. Latitudes are known as parallels. They run from east to west direction. Latitudes are also the circles drawn on the globe. Equator is the central and longest latitude. Equator divides the Earth into two hemispheres. Other latitudes are smaller than equator. North and south poles are 90-degree latitudes. In fact, they are the points. These poles are actually points and not the circles. Now let's understand longitudes. The longitudes are imaginary vertical lines. These are drawn from North Pole to South Pole. These are also known as meridians. Meridian means midday. The longitude that divides the Earth into Eastern Hemisphere and Western Hemisphere is known as prime meridian. Prime meridian is a 0-degree meridian. So this prime meridian passes through a Greenwich Observatory which is located in London, that is in United Kingdom. So this prime meridian is also known as Greenwich meridian. All meridians are numbered from this prime meridian. You can see, so from 0, 10, 20, 30. So this way we number them up till 180 degrees. So this is the eastern hemisphere. The eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere are numbered from prime meridian. So eastern hemisphere has 180 degrees and western hemisphere also has 180-degree longitudes. So the 180-degree eastern and western meridian is the same line, same common line, which is again 180 degrees from the prime meridian. So this line, the 180-degree eastern or western line, passes through the islands of Pacific Ocean. So this line is also called as international date line. Why it is called so? Because when we pass from east to west, the date changes. So a new date begins when we pass from or when we pass across this international date line. So that is the importance of this line. So this is 180-degree meridian. Now let us understand the characteristics of longitudes. There are total 360 meridians in all. Prime meridian is at 0 degrees. The international date line is at 180 degrees. All the meridians are of same length and they meet at poles. If you remember, latitudes are not of same length. The longest latitude is equator. And once we go towards the pole, the latitude sign, the size decreases, and at pole, the latitude would be just a point. But unlike latitudes, longitudes are of same length and all of them meet at poles. So because they are of same length, we can say that all the longitudes can divide the Earth into two equal halves. The distance between the longitudes is at highest at the equator. You can see that they are farthest near the equator and then all of those longitudes meet at poles. All the longitudes meet at poles. The longitude to the east of prime meridian are denoted by E and to the west of prime meridian are denoted by W. All right, children. So until now, we studied about latitudes and longitudes and their characteristics. Since this video is becoming a bit lengthy, I am splitting it into two parts. So in the second part, we will study grid system and time, and also we'll try to understand the maps. So visit this video to understand this topic well, and I will also provide the link to part 2 in the video in description. So until next time, bye bye.